The announcement today by the DOJ that they're going to step up voter protection. It's a good thing. I'm glad they're doing it. I'm concerned because I think there has been over the past couple of days, it feels like, a implicit recognition by the administration that, like, yeah, we're not going to get any legislation passed. I mean, it almost feels like they've given up on it. But I don't know, given up is the right word, but they're like moving on to like plan C or D. Here is AOC on Dana Bash, and I get the sense that she feels this way too. AOC does, that, like, you know, there's no more value in trying to, you know, like,
and like placing gifts at the altar of Joe Manchin. Like,
exactly.
We're past this point.
Exactly. Here's AOC on with CNN with Dana Bash this weekend.
As you well know, Democrats have 3 votes to spare in the House. So if the White House comes to you, if Democratic leaders come to you and say, this is the best you're going to get right now, would you and fellow progressives still say no to this?
Well, I think the thing is that this isn't the best that we can get. And I do think that we need to talk about the elephant in the room, which is Senate Democrats, which are blocking crucial items in a Democratic agenda for reasons that I don't think hold a lot of water. And for folks saying, okay, you know, where are you going to get these 50 votes? I think we really need to start asking some of these Democratic senators where they plan on getting 60 votes. These 10 Republican senators, that there's a theory that we're going to get support for that out there, I think is a claim that doesn't really hold water, particularly when we can't even get 10 senators to support a January 6th commission.
Yeah, no, I hear
and
you
so
generally
I think that the argument that we...
But on this particular bill, they have 5. And, you know, my understanding is that it is possible, if everything comes together, they could get 10. So just on infrastructure.
What?
Yeah. No, that's unbelievable to me. She's literally just laid out this premise that it's farcical to think they're going to get 10.
And
no, I hear you.
But I have this question already teed up about how it needs to be bipartisan.
But here's the point, AOC. 5 is a number, and so isn't 10. So if they have a number, why couldn't they have 10? Why couldn't 5 magically turn into 10?
If everything comes together, whatever that means.
Yes, if everything lines up correctly, which means that if you take 5 and multiply it by 2, that's 10. And then they will pass it.
It's simple math, AOC. I thought you had an economics degree.
The compulsion for the...
Do we have her response to that?
Mainstream media... Yeah, all right, continue to play it.
Support a January 6th commission.
Yeah, no, I hear you
I
generally
think that the
speaking.
Argument that we
But on this particular bill, they have 5. And, you know, my understanding is that it is possible, if everything comes together, they could get 10. So just on infrastructure.
Yeah, well, I think then the question that we have to make is that there's a fork in the road, which is, do we settle for much less and an infrastructure package that has been largely designed by Republicans in order to get 60 votes, or can we really transform this country, create millions of union jobs, revamp our power grid, get people's bridges fixed and schools rebuilt with 51 or 50 Democratic votes? And I think the argument that we need to make here is that it's worth going it alone if we can do more for working people in this country. You know, with 50 votes, we have the potential to lower the age of Medicare eligibility so that more people can be covered and guaranteed to their right to health care, as opposed to, 60 votes where we do very, very little. And the scope of that is defined by a Republican minority that has not been elected to lead.
So
I don't know. I don't know if, the me inside of me wants to go like, Dana, are you out of your mind?
Well, she goes, my understanding is that it could come. Like there could be more fight. Your understanding is based in fantasy.
Or I'd like to say, I'd like to hear what the basis of that understanding is. I mean, are you aware? Who are the other 5? Who are the other 5 Republican senators? Or, I honestly am, I don't know if I'm agnostic or ambivalent about this. Or she gets out there and says like, well, even if you could get the 60, that would be a shitty bill. And why would you do that? I don't know. I know I would say like, really, Dana? Well, why don't you tell me about that? What is your understanding about those other 5? Why aren't they involved in negotiations?
We'll get those with McCarthy's like 100 names of communists and high levels of the State Department.
Right. Was it your understanding that Kevin McCarthy could say like, here's my wish list before we ever join this commission? And they say, okay, here's the rubber stamp. Boom, you get your wish list. Sorry, we're not going to do it. I mean, like I don't know if the important thing right now is to sort of discipline the media by saying like, you keep doing this and it's a joke. And all you're doing is you're maintaining the fiction that these 10 people are maintaining. Like, they're celebrities. I mean,
that's the fiction that Dan Abash and CNN is interested in maintaining.
Most of the media has always been like this. And it is my contention that the reason why the media could not deal with Donald Trump's lying so much is because for years, they would allow like Paul Ryan to lie about like deficit and stuff that was more serious. And they would play this game like, oh, okay. Because everybody knows there is not, unless the Democrats say no new money and you're just going to repurpose the money that we already spent. And even then, I just think that like the Republicans are just not interested in the policy of this. They're just interested in, we're going to deny Joe Biden. The media is, they talk about propagating the big lie. This is also a lie. This is a lie. There's not going to be 10 votes for an infrastructure bill.
But my understanding is that 5 equals 10.
I don't even convinced that the 5 would vote for it.
They wouldn't. They're already like, oh, well, it needs to be what's the latest like gang of 8 with 500 billion or whatever the
gang
case
of
may
10.
Be. Gang of 10.
They've come out with a bill that is like whatever it is, but I'm not even convinced that they would vote for it if it actually for some reason got up
on each end.
Right. It's ridiculous.